The LPL is already diving into week 2 of the summer split, and things are heating up as we get 4 more teams in their first matches today in the Shanghai Arena. Of course, the fans are out here looking forward to the first matchup. You see Smlz, he's going to be showing up in the first series today between Youdang and Vici. It's one that we're pretty excited about, Raz. Of course, both these teams have had a few roster swap-ups so far, and we've even had an icon change, as you see SwordArt smiling much like the sun lion he's holding, just giving it a little bit of love with the marker. Everyone's looking really happy today, and hopefully we see the same thing from Vici, but you won't recognize a ton of the faces on their side, as you're going to see a lot of substitutions, a lot of new players. You may recognize one coming up here, and that is Ian. He's swapped over here into Vici from the LGD roster, and they're hoping this will be the magic that takes them higher into the LPL standings. Welcome everyone to week 2, day 1. My name is Matt Niberia Clendaniel, joined here by Barento Raz Muhammad, and I am so excited to be here with you today.
Yeah, you know, you're gonna break the desk. You better watch out.
I'll be careful. I'll be careful.
You better be.
There we go. It's okay, desk.
I enjoyed our first few days here in the LPL, especially yesterday where we got to see RNG go up against Team WE. I expected it to be a lot more hectic, a lot longer. RNG put the smackdown on Team WE.
Look, I feel like WE put up a fight. Yes, they were dragged, kicking and screaming to the lost screen, but, you know, they were dragged. They weren't just shoved there. But that will give RNG their first win, bringing them up. And look, we've got our playoff teams right at the top of the standing, EDG, FPX, and RNG.
And that's the thing. For me, RNG, FPX, and EDG, those 3 teams had such dominating performances. So, like, that is something that will leave you looking towards the next few weeks here, because I don't think they're going to be dropping many games. EDG, especially, a team that I had a lot of questions for. They had JJ come in as their starter, of course, debut performance, and he looked insane. MLXG insane, so I want to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, that flash over the wall with the Olaf, my God, so fantastic. But we do have to talk about today's matchups, of course, and they're 2 very exciting ones. First up, we're going to have Youdang versus Vici, and following that, our MSI representatives coming back home, IG versus Dominus Esports.
Yeah. Also, always have to remember the fact that they're our world champions, so I want to see what Invictus Gaming have to offer for us, especially Dominus, because Dominus came in and started incredibly weak on their first day. It seemed like they came in rusty, so I think the fact that they were able to give that 1 day reprieve, that 1 day where they had like, okay, we had that. Like, that one bad performance, we'll take those losses, come back stronger. Hopefully they give IG a run for their money. And
there's a lot to talk about there. And don't worry, we will get to it eventually. But first up, let's talk about the Youdang versus Vici matchup, because this one, we had an off season and a half here for these 2 teams. But let's talk about the swaps that happened here for Vici first.
You already made a mention of the biggest point for Vici Gaming is the fact that Ian has come in. Now, a few of the substitutions, Fire Rain, some people will recognize, had a great Yasuo performance, but the fact that Ian is coming into the team from LGD is a major plus. Ian is fantastic. The fact that he didn't get that much playtime, that's just because Yuki is just that good, right? Not only is the franchise player of LGD, he's a great assassin player. I think Ian is actually bringing the Akali performances that he was able to showcase on that one. The LeBlanc, wonderful performance that he's had on LGD over. Vici Gaming need talent, and I feel like Ian is going to be able to bring them that and gives them a lot of focus where Ike's or Youdang, any of the junglers that they're going to be fielding, to come and just focus in on the mid lane.
Yeah, we saw his former co-mid laner on LGD, Yuki, have a beautiful performance yesterday. Let's hope we can see him pull out a performance of his own today. Yep. But that's not the only team coming out. Of course, we have them going up against Youdang Gaming, who've made some roster swaps of their own. Of course, we saw Longxing.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's the only one. Everyone who's wondering still, like, Longxing, that is a name change, previously known as Xiao Al, the mainstay for Youdang. So that is a huge loss to the organization. Now, bringing Biubiu up, Biubiu's already been playing a few games last split, so it's not as if he's coming in completely fresh and new, but new focus for the squad. I think the biggest change is not necessarily the fact that they've lost Longxing, but also the fact that they've changed in coaching staff. Izuhun is still there, but their stage coach has moved from Comet. He's gone back to Korea, and now their new stage coach is Fluidwind. former Flash Rolls coach, a lot of the staff coming in, so he's going to have some prior experience with Maple and SwordArt.
Yeah, and that familiarity will hopefully go forward and help them a little bit, because last split we had pretty high expectations for Suning. We were all like, oh man, super team, Flash Moves 2.0, SMLZ is there, it's going to be amazing. But that didn't quite happen. They had some synergy issues, as you're going to see in these clips here.
I definitely called them championship contenders. The issues that we saw last split are exactly what's happened here, which is a lot of the problems coming in from SMLZ and SwordArt in the laning phase. Now, I've never said that SMLZ was a strong laner. Always called him top 2, top 3 AD carry, but last split was not only his worst performance, but also just in terms of how the team was gelling. Communication-wise, every time they looked for a play that they had the onus on, like the last play that we had seen was mid lane jungle wizards in the area. They weren't even the weak side of the map, but the lack of patience to wait for members to come in for the inevitable dive. They ended up losing on a play that they were setting up for. That play you just saw right in that situation, they were looking for a dive, and they were ready for it until SMLZ got blasted. So the three things that I want to see from this team going into this split, now that they've lost talent and flexibility, is just, number one, defined roles. I want to see defined playstyle roles here. Biubiu is a great facilitator. Remember, we've seen amazing teams, successful teams in the LPL, like EDG, when they've had facilitating tank top laners, much like Mouse. And I think that is effectively a playstyle they can utilize here, because Biubiu going up against a lot of the great top laners in the league, he's going to have a few problems there. Number two for me, dual lane must play more in tandem with their jungler. Now, that's exactly what we just saw in the two other replays, right? That didn't happen. For whatever reason, even when the jungler and mid laner had proper push and moved towards the bottom side of the map, the wave control was poor, and mostly they were just playing up when they had no real reason to. So those are a few instances that we saw so consistently in the spring split. And the last one is simply just based off of performance. Now, I already talked about SMLZ's lack of performance last split. That was his worst split, really, of his entire career. Same issue happened for both Maple and Hacker. There was a reason why we got to see more Angel coming into the mid lane and Wei coming into the jungle. So as long as the players can play well, and I'm just talking about individually speaking, then they can start to hit those whole tunes and expectations that we had of the super team.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the bottom lane then, because it seems like with the new roster change, with Biubiu coming into the top lane instead of Longxing, you've lost that sort of carry potential in your top laner as much. So it seems like, much like in the Snake series, they're going to be focusing into that bottom lane, allowing SMLZ to carry. But given his performances last split, do we trust that they can do that with this roster?
I think a lot of it comes down to the structure around the focus. Now, being so flexible, if you can do anything you want towards, like, well, remember, Xiaoao / Longxing, being able to play both carries and tanks, that creates an issue if you're not willing to just focus in on a specific playstyle. I think that they're technically forced to do that. Now, you can see all the members coming in, the introduction. They are in Shanghai for this one, so first time they're coming out alongside Vici Gaming, so it's nice that they're getting a proper introduction. To answer your question, just based off that, focus is what we need. They don't have the talent like they had that talent last split. Makes it all the more important.
This time we've got Vici Gaming, of course, Chelizi on your screen, Youdang coming into the jungle, Ian in the mid lane, and Puff and Southwind, the duo carries. Hysterix' favorite two players in the LPL.
I mean, there's good reason to be loving Puff and Southwind. Southwind and Puff started off spring split huge, legitimately dominating lane consistently. Whenever we have a talk about supports not getting enough love in the MVP, Southwind is that exception. He consistently finds that love because he is a fantastic, engaging type of player. Reminds me of Ming's Alistar. So we're just talking about people I expect to be picking Alistar even when he's not necessarily in the meta. For me, it seems like it's going to be Southwind immediately.
I love Southwind, man. I mean, the first game we saw him on, he came in here. You know, this is the reason Hysterix rated Vici Gaming so highly as well, is because he saw that.
Let's not throw his name under the bus on this one.
No. But he had good reason, man. Southwind, game number 1, 2-0-24, 100% kill participation on that support position. That is insane for anyone's first performance in the LPL, and that's something that I want to see as Vici Gaming's strength going forward.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're building up from that point, that the bottom lane has remained the same coming in from spring to summer split, and they have now added towards what is a stronger mid laner. I personally like Youdang more than I do like Ike's, people will not remember Youdang. Specifically, he came in last year. So 2018, he's had a few games. He's a great Lee Sin player. Now, I don't think it is a significant increase in towards him and Ike's. I think when it comes down to what I want to see from Vici Gaming, increase in execution is certainly a plus. They need their plays that they've been trying to force to actually work out for them. There are so many instances where Vici Gaming have strong drafts. And I'm talking about Luong's draft in the beginning of the split last time around. Beautiful. I loved it. Going into the game, they set up for a blue buff invade, everything. I'm loving it, right? 10 out of 10. But then around the way, they fail in one way or another. And they get outplayed when they've been making the proper plays along the way. So a boost in talent is definitely a way for this team forward.
Well, we've talked a lot about the hopes for these teams and what we think, okay, ideally, this is the situation that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ideally, here's how this change will benefit the team for the better. But realistically speaking, what are your expectations coming into the series? Because Suning, I mean, they finished 10th last split. Do you think it's going to be better now that they have new coaching staff to mix it up a little bit?
I think it'll be better because I think that the direction that they're going in, now remember, they don't have a choice of whether or not Lang Xing was going to leave. He found greener passes in RNG. That happened. All right. God bless you. Go on your way. But going and changing coaching staff really does kind of hit a good tone and vibe with me. Because a lot of the plays that I showed you coming into the day were really question marks for all of the viewers and fans for Suning. A lot of us are wondering, well, you have fantastic players, but, and sure, you can even make the excuse that individually they're playing poor consistently, but like a lot of the plays that we saw where they were in position to win these games, they were flopping. Not in just raw mechanics, literally in strategy and communication. The communications were literally just nowhere to be seen. So as long as Fluidwin is there, has recognized that, he has a good track record in the LMS, we need to be able to see that going forward. Now, it's not an easy, quick process. It never is. So let's see what they can do for this one. I like the fact that they're starting this split off with what people would perceive to be an easy one.
Well, right. It's all about the perceptions because Vici came in. We were like, okay, this is going to be an easy first matchup for their opponent. That didn't work out too well for them.
Didn't work out for Anthony Joshua as well, as he got knocked out for anybody who's a boxing fan. So never take your opponents too easily. You have to be, take it 100% all the time. Maybe you get hit by an Echo Fox. Just putting that in your mind. I think Vici Gaming, I talk about the fact that they were looking good last split in terms of just the plays that they were looking for. Like, in terms of just seeing what they were trying to attain, I was like, these are all great. It's just unfortunate that mechanically across the board, they were just failing at that. And I think they made the necessary improvements. I was personally sad that their coach, Luong, had not been on stage for them at the later portions of the split. They had made that replacements because I thought his first 3 weeks, his draft was fantastic. Now, obviously, a head coach is known for just a lot more than that. But you saw a significant decrease when, he was off the stage on that one. So for me, what I love about him coming back in is that we will see that level of flexibility that is needed, especially in this meta that has so many flex picks coming through and a question mark on whether Southwind is willing to play Yuumi.
I'm not sure how sold I am on seeing Yuumi. She's fun when you can do unique strats with her. I mean, we saw some unique drafting around her in the WERNG series, which is really nice to see. But I like seeing the creative strategies with her. I think the TF combo with her was fun. The Olaf combo with her is fun.
What are you trying to say?
Look, I'm trying to say I want to see some more spicy drafting. I don't want to just see a Yuumi Raz. I want to see a Yuumi plus something where I'm like, oh, why does this work? And then I get to see in the game.
You want to learn something.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think a lot of us are going to be learning something with a Yuumi regardless because not a lot of, well, sure, it feels like every game that's come through. Yuumi is just that strong, by the way. Yuumi at this point is just OP in the sense that every team, every game you watch, you're expecting her to either get banned or picked, at least in the first phase. So, like, you're in the situation where Yuumi is going to get picked, but still, not a lot of leagues are playing right now. Right now, it just seems to be us and North America. So
we get to be the leaders.
Yeah, there we go. So you get to learn as much as possible. Now, technically, I've been, watching European national leagues just to be able to see a little bit of, their reasoning and certain picks. I liked my favorite Yuumi bot side, the bot lane duo has actually been Yuumi Jhin. I don't think it's necessarily the meta for Jhin, but it just essentially turns it into a kill lane, especially with the slow the Q provides from Yuumi. So that's fun. I think the Yuumi Lucian lane actually reminded me a hell of a lot of Lulu Lucian back in the SKT days, where you just see Lulu Lucian being supported quite a bit. The speed boost going through, just the flexibility, the movement speed he's able to have in mid game is just actually bonkers. So big fan of that. Hopefully we get to see it going into this game. I know it's certainly in Suning's style range, so SwordArt's going to be the type of player that wants to pick it, and Southwind's the type of person to want to counter against it. So he's going to probably pick up a Leona or an Alistar to deal with it.
We've seen the Leona, we've seen the Alistar, we even saw the Sona last night as well. So there's a lot of options here, but two things.
What's up?
Lulu Lucian is the most fun thing to say in League of Legends,
yes,
so I just wanted to start there.
Yep.
But number two, I actually think we might be able to see the Jhin Yuumi bot lane, because you say it's out of meta, but the last time it was out of meta was during the spring split, and Suning was like, okay, we have the Snake series, we just need a win. Let's throw all the eggs in the Smlz basket. And what AD carry did he pick to carry the game? Wasn't Kog'Maw, wasn't Jinx, it was the Jhin.
Well, here's a funny thing about Smlz. He's definitely the type of person, and he has done this in the past few splits, to play out of meta. So he has played Jinx quite a bit. He's played the Jhin, to your point, as well. And when Kai'Sa first came out, and everybody out there said that Kai'Sa was just absolutely bad, and it was technically true because she was very clunky at, when she first came out, he picked it up immediately before the playoffs time, and I guess that's a good segue into the champion selected, as it seems like we're about to get in.
We have the Dorito flash across the screen, then we see the Mercedes. That means we might get to see some cheese picks. I'm hoping, but no luck there so far. The band's pretty standard. We have the Akali and the Aurelia. Aatrox, there it is, the Yuumi band. Come on, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I'm expecting a first pick on that one, so thankfully it's out of the way. Sylas is still available, so I wonder, at this point, if I'm Vici Gaming, I'm definitely looking to first pick that one. A lot of the strength in Sylas at this point is the fact that you can actually draft away from having hard engage and expect, Hacker to be going towards a Jarvan, and you would still have that ultimate for your team fight initiation. So wonder where they're going to be going for that one if the Sylas ends up getting banned here by Suning.
Well, Suning has the option, but if you give it away, maybe you get a flex pick of your own. The Rise is still on the table. That's
true.
Very powerful flex pick. Top of the meta, as you will.
It's a great trade here. So I would value the Rise personally, and I love the fact that Suning has left both options up so they can trade.
The Rakan going to be the ban there, taking that away from Southwind. He's shown some amazing performances on it. Last split.
And at this point, this is when Long is asking his mid laner what he would prefer here, because, Rise and Sylas, if Ian, whoa, they're not even going to go for either. That's really interesting to me. It's a good challenge to Suning and saying, can Suning play, want to pick up both champions, but being on red side and having to choose both Rise and Sylas, that takes away your ability to counterpick. So depends on how comfortable they are. You definitely want to play against the Sylas a little more. So if I'm Vici Gaming, the fact that they picked up the Nico, I mean, it's just a great lane over Sylas. Sylas really lacks in terms of consistent DPS in the early laning phase, so if it goes top lane, you're going to have some problems.
Well, the Sylas has been locked in so far for Suning. Still have their second pick on the board. Whether they will pick up the flex pick Rise or leave another option open on the table is yet to be decided. Oh, Jace as well. Forgot about that flex pick.
I expect it to be going towards Biubiu if it does get locked in. So it's a good response here, knowing that Vici Gaming is very likely to send that Nico up to the top side of the map. Going to be interested to see what Suning is looking for. They're the type of team to allow SMLZ's pick to go to second phase. It's fairly risky. I do not think they should leave their support to second phase, as you can already see in the bans. Two support bans, the Rakan and the Yuumi, it really puts SwordArt in a bad position if he holds off his support until second phase.
Well, so far it looks like they're going to be trying to look for a jungle pick here for Youdang. Will be the Jarvan the fourth locked in.
I'm expecting an AP Nico then, because that is a great combination to have. One of the greatest weaknesses of AP Nico is essentially just keeping them in the damn ultimate. So Glacial Augment is a great boost in helping that one. GLP really does a lot of good work, but even then you need a little bit more help, and the Jarvan Cataclysm will do wonders.
So much AoB slows coming out from the Nico as well, so that's a lot of teamfight pressure. Plus you add the Rise into that, suddenly you've got map mobility on top with the Realm Warp, so they will pick that one up for themselves. Still flexible though for the solo lanes, because you have the Rise and the Nico, which can go top, mid, and AD carry if they so decide. Yeah,
it's all dependent on the matchups here, so if I'm Vici Gaming, I would actually prefer to have Rise in the mid lane, recognizing that it might just be a bad matchup if they send the Jace mid, but still say that I have the flexibility with my ultimate, my Realm Warp, to have positioning. If I have shove in lane, I can choose to be going top side to help out Chelizi and his Nico, or go to the bottom side of the map, and I know that Southwind is going to be choosing something that has, engage heavy, and I have some help with. It does put ownership on Youdang, by the way. He's in a bad matchup. Jarvan versus Rek'Sai doesn't work too well for the Jarvan most of the time. So if he gets hit up early on, expect Ian to be underneath his tower, unwilling to make the response.
Well, that's the thing, too, because wherever the Jace goes, you've got a Rek'Sai to follow up. Those are some scary early ganks. Those are some scary level 6 ganks as well.
Just depends, right? Because if I'm seeing Suning picking an early game, good matchup jungler, I do not see why they would send the Jace mid. I would expect them to send Jace topside and then have Sylas mid, where Sylas actually lacks in a lot of early laning phase pressure towards a lot of these champions like the Rise. But the early jungle boost there makes it so the 2v2 is all the better. Because think of it this way, I mean, you have Abscond Adduct. That's great CC setup for the Rek'Sai. Already on that one, you should be able to burst down one champion if it's the Rise with the Jarvan, and it gets Sylas out of the laning phase, where I wouldn't have that expectation for the Sylas in the top side of the map. So I'm expecting a Sylas mid.
Okay, and we have Raz, we have 6 support bans.
Yep, that's what I said, man. Ooh, this is what I love to see. Okay. I mean, we've already seen a few Sona support games already, so it's fun to see Sona already just coming out there. It seems like the Sona Taric lanes that's been coming out pretty consistently have just made people realize that Sona's a pretty good champion. Sona's pretty damn fine. Now, the Taric himself is not banned, so anything is possible. And if I'm Suning, you can immediately go back to that Sona Taric. I like that Vici Gaming are starting to draft towards push here. I love the Xayah, regardless of Rakan being banned. A great way to deal with the potential Sona Taric is to legitimately just shove and look to take turret pressure down. So I'm expecting Youdang to be playing to this. Ooh, take it away from them.
Okay, all right. So it's going to be, this is interesting now.
What's interesting?
This could be the Sona Tahm Kench bottom lane.
No, people have been playing it as a response. So, like, look, when you're in solo queue, when someone has picked up Sona and you're intending to go Sona Taric, obviously people are going to take Taric away. So what do people go to next? It is the Tahm Kench. There's been a lot of Sona Tahm Kench in solo queue. So it's not, at all foreign. I would have expected Smlz and SwordArt to have practiced this. One thing to make a mention of is when Tahm Kench did get, I want to initially say nerf, but it was just a huge shift to his playstyle. No longer is he the type of champion to just whisk his AD carry out of there scot-free, evade almost every gank because of that movement speed. It seems like he's essentially just like, if you want to protect your AD or bottom laner, you're going to be sitting still for a little while. So he's not so much there to protect, but he's certainly there to attack. A lot of increased damage, refund on mana if he's using his W on the enemy champion. So there's a lot there to increase and boost his fighting strength in the lane.
My question then is how Suning's composition is going to work as it goes into the later stages of the game, because to me, it feels like there's not a whole lot of damage drafted that lasts throughout the mid game, because Jace, very heavy on the lethality, Rek'Sai falls off in the later stages, and Sona does damage, yes, but Sona and Sylas, both, that's all your damage source, both AP.
Sona's out. No, Jace does a lot of damage later on. At this point, I'm expecting to go, 1-3-1 is my expectation. Perhaps with the added pressure with the Sona Tahm Kench, they can essentially move as a group. What Tahm Kench does provide to you, and this is something that I want to see a lot during this game, is if you are put in a 1-3-1 position, as I think they should be, then you can start really looking to ambush people, specifically the top laner. If the Nico's trying to match the Jace, well, guess what? I'm going to roll up on you. Rek'Sai's in my belly. Guess what? Now there's 3 people here. That is a great strategy to utilize. There's a lot of damage here for me in the mid game. So I love what Suning has to offer here early on. Great stuff, especially with the Sylas. If he uses the ultimate there, pick up Ian's Realm Warp, then expect multiple ultimates moving across the map. It's a lot of fun to look at.
That's a lot of people that can move into any lane at any time. But on the other hand, Vici, they still got that team fight. They still got the Nico Jarvan combo. I want to see which one of these compositions comes out ahead as we get here into game number 1 between Vici Gaming and Suning.
Are we just going to watch all angles of the Naruto run animation?
Looks like it, but it's getting ruined there, Raz. There's just too much rotation.
So immediately here, as you can already see, no changes to the Sona Taric vibe. Already looked, Sona's picking up the support item, having the Frost Bang. Just going to be able to just harass the lane. Now, the biggest problems to a lot of this strategy, in MSI, people just didn't like to see this happen. It resulted in what was the fastest game in international competition for League of Legends. And it was just essentially if you lose the early skirmishes and if you cannot wave clear because guess what? You're Sona Tahm Kench, then you get dived, you get shoved in. There's nothing in your composition that can really stop that. You would have to be forced to fight. But then the earlier issue that you had in terms of just damage being present ain't there. Youdang's already here to mess them up.
He's looking forward. He's level 2. The flag and drag. The flash lands. Goodbye, Sona. My God, we're seeing the squishiness on full display, Raz.
Already. And people thought that the level 2 ganks would stop because Scuttlecrab don't exist. But guess what? Jarvan can do it whenever he wants to. He's already got the damage down, and take a look at this.
Chelizi just getting chunked out there, down below half health now. Biubiu, all he loses is a little bit of mana.
So already, coming into this one, calling Biubiu and saying that he should recognize his role as a facilitator and perhaps a tank. Already starting that one and saying, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear that. So great early trades on the top side of the map, and it allows Suning a lane to play through. And a lot of the times when you look at where the jungler should be pathing early on, I'm sure the early game plan was to go straight through the mid lane. But if you're going to keep looking for trades like that, FLICKR has a possibility of looking for a top lane dive, but looks like he's hunting here.
Looking for Ian, but Ian's going to play pretty safely. He still has the Aftershock and the Flash available, so not a whole lot of damage will be able to land on him.
Sees him.
FLICKR going in for the invade. He found Youdang, level 2 versus level 3. There's the smite away. Youdang keeps the blue buff and his life.
All right, nice smite on that one. Of course, increasing his HP so he can last a little bit longer. But the sad fact of all of this is that FLICKR is going to have a go at his blue side jungle. So Grom, likely Wolf Camp as well if he's willing to make the adjustment. That just makes it so much harder for Chelizi. Take a look at the minimap and just see how isolated he is now. Youdang, if he wants to take the proper experience, he's going to be going to the right side of the map and trade sides. But you already saw how bad the trades were going for Chelizi. If he takes any more bad trades there, instantly FLICKR goes for a dive.
The bright side of that, though, is if FLICKR stays up towards the top side of the map, suddenly we could see more ganks down into the bottom side. We already saw the first one go incredibly well for Youdang in the bot lane of Vici, so Puff and Southwind could be popping off more.
I'll say this. Now, Smlz did a good thing in keeping hold of his flash. Now, maybe he just didn't have time. He was CC locked to be able to use it, but I just think strategically there's a great idea. If you already know you're going to die there, hold on to it firmly. Now, SwordArt and Smlz can deal with that gank if it comes by. This time around, they can expect it, where last time they're like, why was he here to begin with?
Meanwhile, the top side, Chelizi, this time hasn't been chunked down just yet, so he's holding his own, but he is down almost a full wave in CS. But as we're rotating across the map, you're looking at Southwind. He's looking for something.
Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going?
He's going on an adventure, Raz. Looks like it's landed him in the middle lane.
Well, I mean, at this point, Ian, I'm not too sure if he wants to base. He's at a pretty decent spot, and he's not looking to allow Youdang a path to gank here. In my mind, he's just trying to farm up until he gets towards... I'm not even sure if he wants a tier at this point. I think a great idea would go for a Lost Chapters to boost his early lane. So he might be in lane for a little while longer. Oh, wait, where are you going? Hey!
We just had a little explanation about why you should stay,
Lost
Ian.
Chapter. You better not be getting that tier from me. All right. You know what? You're fired.
There's a tier for Ian and a few tears streaming down Raz's face, but it's fine. You know what? He's going to make it through. Biubiu taking a tower shot there. He's in trouble. The flash follows up. Goodbye. Biubiu flashes away, keeps himself alive for now. But here comes Youdang, the flag dunk. to finish him off.
I mean, I was giving him the early props, and then this happens. Like, he was in a tough position no matter what anyways. He was actually pushing in, but not able to reset the wave for a very long time. There usually is a call for junglers to come and help him out, but Hacker was like, actually, I'm just going to be on the opposite side of the map. Well, you made your own mistakes. You make your own gravestone here. So, yeah, he gets himself Ocean Dragon, which will, in part, help his top laner, but that sucks.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate, too, because he, like you said, was doing great in that early lane, but now there's the Seeker's Arm Guard on Chelizi, so he's going to have a lot of extra armor, a lot of sustain in that lane. He's going to have the mana sustain from the Fairy Charm. Oh.
That's not possible. I'm saying this is not a good idea. There's no way Chelizi can actually harm Biubiu enough to be a good dive.
Chelizi does have 6, though.
This is a no.
I think they're still looking for it, Raz.
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
Youdang looking for the flag and drag, will not land it, and Biubiu goes in for the engage, but that's just auto attack after auto attack, and Youdang forces him off.
I will say the real issue here was that Rise was also coming up to the top side of the map, so he is still in dive range if Jarvan is still interested, but he would be losing out on a lot of experience if he sticks around. So ultimately, I'd say this is a positive. That turns a lot of the tides that was initially happening in the lane now in favor of Chelizi.
That said, though, Hacker, as a return, has already seen where Youdang is, so he's going to try and steal away the red buff. He will be successful here. Just toss the Q over there. He's going to try and steal away the Raptors as well, but I don't know about this one. Youdang's back on the map.
Doesn't have Smite just yet, but he already has enough damage. At this point, this hurts for Youdang. He put in a lot of investment to turn the tides on the top side of the map, but now he's just behind in experience.
CS totals in the bot lane are going Vici Gaming's way, however. Does require a little bit of arithmetic, but got there in the end. But this lane has gone a lot better for Smlz after the level 2 gank because not died, not been pressured.
Rek'Sai is not turning back here. His red is still up, his blue buff is up, but his focus is going to be on the bot side of the map to match Youdang. So let's see what he ends up doing here. I don't think he wants to fully commit knowing that his bot lane won't be there to help out first.
Instead, he's rotating up towards the mid lane. We could see a gank here onto Ian. Still does have his flash, still does have the aftershock.
At the end of the day, he goes back to his blue so he can hand it off to Maple. But this was just great from Hacker early on. Has a lot of early vision of Youdang. He could have made the play. I think some junglers would. Maybe Jeje. Throwing out that point. To get the fight forced on top of Youdang, maybe even forces his flash. But he doesn't want to take that risk, and so he's put his team in a strong position. Smlz and SwordArt are now aware of the impending doom. Jarvan still goes topside, but they were ready enough. They had their control ward just behind them, and Rek'Sai stayed around.
Youdang's pathing has been spotted out here. There was a ward down by his red buff, so Hacker knows that he's on the top side of the map.
Ah, here you go.
But Hacker himself's been spotted out, so this will have to be a dive if anything happens.
Here comes Silas, too, so this is full-fledged. Southwind and Puff got to get out of here.
Southwind, not level 6, doesn't have the invulnerability, but it's going to be fine. Suning not going to go for the full dive between the towers.
This has just been a great, last 4 minutes here from Suning. A great way to just kind of erase what happened earlier on with Biubiu. So the fact that they were able to turn back what was a good early investment in goal from Vici Gaming is looking good. It seems like, I mean, if you just look at the goal count, the fact that the kill count says 2-0, Suning showcases that just by playing the map and playing the mid lane really well, and specifically a lot of the goals been on Hacker, that looks like it's going real well for them.
Yep, now Chelizi no longer fielding under threat in the top lane, so this matchup suddenly might be a little bit harder for Biubiu. I want to see where Hacker's going to go. He did lose his red buff over to Youdang, so that's been a trade there. I've been impressed with Hacker's pathing early so far.
One thing I want to see from Hacker going forward, you can already see vision control being leveraged around the mid lane. Important. I think he should be playing towards the top side of the map with Rip Trails up, already being pinged, but it's pinged by Vici Gaming, recognizing that that's something that they need to be able to protect. Rise should have a good amount of AP to be able to wave clear mid lane and have control of that, but if Maple is able to recognize or catch that out, can call for a gank from Hacker. So there's a lot of skirmishing power here, and Hacker's just setting up for the Rift.
I believe he's been spotted out, though, by that control ward, so we're going to see what he decides to do to get that control.
It is very hard to dive a post-6 Nico. So that ain't going to be happening anytime soon.
Instead, it's the engage in the mid lane. Aftershock's been popped by both mid laners. Ian, he might be in trouble. Flashes away preemptively. Here comes the ultimate, but Youdang's there. Realm Warp to get him out. He's safe for now, but here comes the bottom lane of Suning. They pick up the kill onto Ian, and Maple falls in the mid lane in the meantime.
While it's a trade, that's a hell of a lot of assist gold going towards Suning. That was a great idea and goal from Suning to be able to look for that mid lane play. At the end of the day, man, one thing I didn't even make a point about is that Maple going with Electrocute rather than Aftershock. Now, Aftershock did get a few nerfs that makes it difficult to be able to keep longer trades going, especially versus a Ryze. But Ryze lasted long enough. He was the one with the Aftershock. So tough call there. He goes in, gets bursted out a lot, and taken down by Youdang.
He's working on mitigating that burst, though, even further there for Ian. He's going to be working on the Merc Treads. But in the meantime, the more important thing, the Rift Herald taken away by Vici Gaming. Youdang going to be the one to pick that one up. And the bottom laner, Vici's been rotated top.
That's a great call, though, because the biggest worry for Vici Gaming was that they weren't strong enough in the top side of the map, and that Hacker was leveraging his strength a little bit too much, staying there. So they decided to utilize the support. AD carry, had them shove out, send them back top side. So once again, Maple takes a lot of damage. No Aftershock on the Sylas means that that's just going to be stacking. Now, one thing I love the most is that the bot side of the map ends up coming through SwordArt and Smlz at the same time. Ideally, it's of course just a 2-4-0, or maybe if Jarvan just stays out of the way, that's a 1-for-0, and they go top side and end up looking for a Rift Herald play. In that play, obviously, Youdang is aware enough of the situation to get the kill and trade back onto Maple, but it looks like great coordination at the beginning of the game here from Suning.
Now Vici might be having a little bit of problem from the Suning coordination. Seems like they've been looking to fix that issue we talked about in the pregame, and so far, Suning's game. They've caught up a little bit in the gold lead, only down 600, and they've got the Ocean Drake.
This is the real test, though. Knowing that you can make some great moves, but you have to respond to Vici Gaming now. They're the ones with Rift Herald. You have to find out where the jungler is and when he's going to place it down. Now, most of the time, the best way to play it out is just stick to your dual lane. Head up to your top side of the map and place the Rift Herald there so you have the ability to actually chip down the turret. But Suning is aware of that, and Hacker's just sticking in between these two lanes.
Just going to rotate up, get more vision, clear it out so that they can roam freely up here between the mid and top. Going to get the Rift Herald as well, so a lot of vision established here in very short time here by Hacker. Suning's going to be real happy about that.
Great luck of the draw being able to get Scuttle Crab on the top side of the map. Makes it so Maple has that movement speed available from going both mid and top lane if the Rift Herald was to be placed top side of the map.
Now the top side, Suning have picked up a turret plating. They're going to try and keep shoving this as Southwind backs. But on the bottom side of the map, the Ocean Drake is still available. I wonder if either team's going to go for that, because Suning, they could be working towards a triple Ocean in the later stages of the game.
Definitely they should, especially Suning going for it. But I mean, look at Youdang. He's on the right side of the map at the right time alongside Ian, but Ian doesn't have too much mana, so they'd have to get... Wait a minute. You kidding me? This is how you're going to use your Rift Herald?
Definitely an interesting use here, Raz.
Get that gold. Is it going to be solo gold on the Nico, though, or are they going to all just... They're all clumping to get in on the action. Hey! Give it to your top laner.
Let him scale, man!
I ain't even worried about the scaling. I'm just worried about him getting the gold necessary. It's okay, though. It's all right. They're just trying to push... Maybe they can get the second tower off this, actually.
Well, they do still have all three, and the response isn't coming out just yet from the Suning bottom lane.
Awful response here from Suning. You cannot trade sides with Sona Tom Kench. The ability to chip down on turrets literally doesn't exist. So, interesting call.
Well, even more interesting is that Maple and SMLZ did have teleport if they really wanted to stop the push.
This is risky. I would have loved Vici Gaming to utilize the Rift Herald to go towards the bottom lane inner turret, but doing this allows Suning the time to come in and check up what's happening, maybe challenge for it. At the end of the day, that doesn't happen. Great for Vici Gaming to still get something off of this.
Yeah, they deny the triple Ocean Drake possibility there from Suning, pick up an Ocean Drake of their own, and the next one's going to be Mountain. So I suspect that one's going to be contended as well, because it's a lot of objective control you can get.
It's definitely, okay, this game right here, kind of just screams out Dragon Game, right? Because 100%, one of the biggest problems that I've had with Vici Gaming last split was the fact that they were incapable of taking the mid lane turret. They didn't know how to do it. If they didn't have range, then they're like, well, are we going to team fight to get it? Are we? What's happening here? They currently have, right now, one of the worst compositions of being able to siege mid lane turret. So, good luck with that. Dragon is certainly going to be a thing that they're going to be trying to, like, work at. Or, look at Biubiu. How long that lane is, first of all, and how unwilling he is to just move away from it. So, if I'm Vici Gaming, certainly you can send Youdang and Ian back to that side of the map, but it seems like they're trying to set up for that early 1-3-1. Now, the 1-3-1 here just actually works to get Ian as much experience, solo experience as possible. That is a perfect way to be able to play this one out, especially since he just needs time so his Seraph's Embrace comes through.
Doesn't look like Ian's the only one up here, though, however, because Puff and Southwind lurking on the sideline. Said they're not going to go for a gank, but almost all the members of both teams are up towards this top side of the Baron pit.
Vici Gaming with that turret plating gold, 800. Nice. A lot of that was just literally the Rift Herald, so not much you can say about that one. That's them reaping the rewards for sending their dual lane topside.
Have the Herald power play, but now it's going to be looking as the Vici bot lane resets towards the mid lane. There's going to be a lot of action coming out here at some point towards this Baron pit because nobody seems happy to leave it.
Oh, you say Baron pit, that's 4 minutes from now, buddy. So you better relax when you're talking about the Baron pit.
They're hanging around there, though, Raz. I'm scared.
A lot of that is, and so let's talk about what Suning could use of the vision control that they have here. I mean, you can already see what Rek'Sai was positioning for, a possibility for being able to find a pick on somebody in transition. If top lane's being shoved in consistently, then you would expect Youdang and perhaps Southwind to make the move from mid lane to top lane. If they can find a pick, easy pick, fantastic, then you can make your move on the mid lane turret. If both teams play respectfully, then there's nothing you can really do here, right? So that's why both teams are not willing to commit. That's what's hard here. It reminds me of an NALCS game where both teams have great vision so they can make some action, but no one wants to be able to do it, and they're both very comfortable with the scaling factor. Sona's great saying, hey guys, I'm going to be building up my Seraphs. I'm fine. Just we can spend as much time as possible, especially being able to get Jace's item so he can stick on side lane and do his work. We're okay with that. Vici Games saying the same thing too. They have Nico and Rise. Why would they stop? Why would they try and push for something now? So,
as I say, both of them ready to work on that scaling aspect because the game really hasn't broken open yet. There's barely a gold lead here for Vici, just 600. So they've just been chilling the whole game. They did have the advantage in the gold from the Rift Herald, but that's been evened up.
No one's here to stop them.
Maple might be breaking it down.
This is the small, mistakes that come through that I would say more experienced teams are able to capitalize on. On this side, Suning, specifically how they've been utilizing HacKR and SwordArt between both mid and top lane. They found that opening for Maple to be able to pick up the top lane towers. So good stuff. I mean, at this point in time, you already see the gold is even out when Vici Gaming had the gold lead for the majority of the game.
Now everyone's resetting, back to base, picking up their items. No Black Cleaver just yet for HacKR, but almost got the Proto Belt there on Maple, so once he does, he's got that extra burst in his hands. And interestingly enough, Medjai's picked up there for SMLZ.
Yeah, makes sense at this point in time. You don't expect him to die even as the Tahm Kench, just in case. One thing that I want to point out for is double Kindle Gem on the side of both HacKR and Maple. Both of them being able to have reduced cooldowns, HP. Kindle Gem is just a wonderful, probably the best recipe in the game. I'm just going to put that one out there. And so for them, at this point in time, they can pick a fight if they find a pick. And a lot of that is going to be around SMLZ that you previously mentioned. So if he finds someone where he just sends Sona ulti down on them, then I'm willing to bet my money on Suning. But it just depends. It's all the time. It's all a game of time. If they're not willing to all in and they don't think they have enough damage, then Taric ultimate will just ruin their day.
Well, now feels like a decent time to fight for Vici because they've got two items, and there goes the engage. SMLZ is safe for now. Cosmic Radiance going to come out. They might be able to catch SwordArt. No, the four-man crescendo saves Suning's.
All right, well, you know what? That was just perfect from SwordArt. Legitimately saved SMLZ so we can get that four-man ultimate. Taric ultimate is down. If Suning wants to fight, they better go for it.
Suning trying to get the re-engage, poking down into Youdang. They have so much poke between the Sona and Biubiu.
You know what this means, though? Dragon is wonderful for Suning. That could be their second dragon, and they're in a perfect position to fight.
Smlz gets dangerously low. He's got to be careful with his positioning here. He's got Medj eyes.
Great poke here from Biubiu. Okay.
Pop Blossom, little too aggressive there from Maple, but doesn't matter. It's not his ultimate anyways.
But this is good enough poke. At this point, if you're not confident starting Dragon, then you're never going to be confident in life. SwordArt is been doing a lot of great work being able to protect Smlz. While Tom Kench's ability to save his opponents got nerfed, don't do this to me.
Okay, we're good. Got smited.
Why are you saying that's good? Hacker just flashed in place.
Okay, that bit's not good.
That's awful.
That bit's the bad bit. But he got the dragon.
I wasn't even worried that Chelizi would outsmite him. I was more worried of the fact that he panicked. This is one of those situations that you're happy that the specifically this game doesn't have pro view. I don't want to see that. But they got dragon. They get it at the end of the day. I'm cool with it.
You think that one's going to show up in the pregame highlight reels, Raz?
No. They're going to save him. I have faith in them.
Now, Maple rotating into the top lane. The 1-3-1 is still continuing here. Ian getting to scale up, and he's starting to do some scary amounts of damage. Youdang coming in to pressure this tower. They want to answer the top tower that Suning got earlier. That's Cataclysm on Maple's Silas.
All right. At this point, Maple has been doing a lot of great work. This kind of reminds me of Invictus Gaming in I'm going to say 2015. I'll say 2016, actually. 2016 Invictus Gaming, they didn't have much talent on the lineup at the time. They had Rookie, 100%. But their issue was their bottom lane always had troubles. They needed to find themselves getting into the late game, but had issues in being able to attain that when early game power was an issue. So guess what they did? Their strategy ultimately was send Rookie up in the side lane, have him wave clear as much as possible, try and defend and slow the game down as much as possible so they can get to team fights. And I feel like right now Suning has been doing a great job at keeping Maple up top lane. That tower has been up for ages. At this point, it's an ancient structure that's been up for like a millennium. You're sending tourists up there for how long it's been up.
When it goes down, that's going to be an archaeological dig. It's going to be a problem for them. But Vici now might have some problems of their own because they got to try and stop that scaling somehow. They've got 2 items on Puff, so I feel like they have the damage to try and take a fight, but how are they going to do it at this point?
I mean, both of them are confident with their own scaling. That's what to me what the most interesting part of this one is. Certainly Vici Gaming are comfortable grouping up and fighting. But at this point in time, Suning have been keeping themselves on side lane. The unsung hero being Biubiu on the bottom side of the map, always pulling Chelizi away from the team. I think Vici Gaming are far more concerned with the fact that they can't push their will on the enemy team. They can't just march up mid lane. The mid lane tower is still up, and they're a team that has been grouping up mid for the majority of the game. And let's see what ends up happening. Suning wants some action here.
Pushing down mid, they've got all 5 members here in the middle lane, which means they have the opportunity to go, but they don't have any sort of pressure here, so Vici's just going to shove them off with the Blade Failure. And there come the backs from Suning as well. So now Vici's going to have free reign over the mid lane, going to be able to clear this one out, push, get a little bit of pressure of their own. But Hacker might be in a little bit of trouble. Youdang goes in, flag and drag, not going to land because of the root from Ian. Unfortunate layering, but that's the follow-up. The Cataclysm expended as well. Youdang takes half his health and damage, but does get the kill down onto Hacker.
So close to being saved. Realm Warp, going to be catching somebody.
They want to find the flag and drag, but Crescendo comes out. Cosmic Radiance does come down in time. Youdang safe. The mid lane tower is not. And Suning, they finally lost the mid lane tower. Vici have done it.
Here comes Jace, though. There's a possibility that Suning can try and turn this one.
Southwind, that's a lot of damage onto him. He finally goes down, but my God, the Pop Blossom to follow up. Maple's down, Hacker's down, so Vici feel comfortable chasing this one in.
Yeah, this is still bad for Suning, but they were trying to find something to come up with this one. It was ultimately them just catching Hacker out and finding the go button mid lane. This is something that Vici Gaming lacked pretty much in the early season. Spring Split was poor from Vici Gaming. When they had a lead, they were unwilling to do anything with it, and this time around, Ian said, no, hop in the bus. Realm Warp straight in there, find someone else. I think this was just perfect from Vici Gaming. Now they have themselves firmly in the lead.
Vici Gaming, though, have the tempo lead. Not much of a gold lead to speak of. 300 gold in their name, but the Baron on the field now.
And that's my point. Now, before we get to the whole what are they going to do next, we'll take a look at this replay. I love the fact that Biubiu ended up rotating towards the mid lane. The team saw that as an opportunity. Slow, close to being able to get the Abscond Abduct down towards Southwind. They still end up getting the kill anyways. Still got traded right back on towards Maple, so that's the risk of not having Aftershock. And then we talk about what Vici Gaming can do next. Because at this point, the vision control that they have towards Baron is the most important thing about this. Too many times that people talk about which team has a lead and then their eyes dart directly towards the gold lead, when it's a lot more about the vision that's placed on the map. Oh, apparently Jarvan wants in something. What's going on here? What do you guys want?
Youdang wants an engage, Raz.
All he needs to do is to chill out. Have that shove mid lane, go back to the top side of the map. They don't have the vision control over Baron's side. That's actually very weird to me. Because while we were essentially in the replay, they had somebody, so they had a man up so they can walk up towards vision. Now they're about to lose Baron when they had all the control.
Baron's already down to 2,000 HP. Can the steal come in? It looks like it won't follow up. Hacker gets it, but the pop blossom to follow from both teams. One kill goes down onto Biubiu, but who is going to win the fight? Vici need a clean wipe here. They want to neutralize the Baron, and so far they've taken down 2. Can they find the other 3? Here comes the Realm Warp for the chase. 3 men following into it. 3 versus 3 up here in the top side of this fight, but they can't find the CC. Lands under SwordArt, the cleanse to follow it up. They're still trying to chase this man down. They will find him, but SMLZ and Maple will make it away.
There we go. Suning are able to get 2 people out there. The waves have been pushed out too, so there's nothing that Vici Gaming can do to get them out while they're dead. 30-second death timer on SwordArt. They're just fine. In fact, Maple's like, all right, let me get this shove out before I end up basing myself. I might even get this tower. Wait a second.
He's got the Baron.
Really? All right, you got this. So let's backtrack a little bit there. While we were in replay, Vici Gaming had a man advantage. They had control wards. They had mid lane shoved out. Why did they not move towards the Baron buff and clear out all the vision that Suning has had? And then why, as a response, they moved to the right side of the map to what was a Cloud Dragon? So that's just sad. Ultimately, it results in this. I was surprised that Suning Gaming thought that they can pick up this fight. Sure, Maple had his ultimate all laid down, but I'm still not confident with the follow-up, knowing that Suning really didn't have much going for it. Not enough damage here from SMLZ, so they get chased down. I think the best thing they did, they ultimately resolved in, is that SMLZ goes up, he has the movement speed. I can say, chill out, guys, I'm out here. And Maple moved to the left, so just throwing their friend SwordArt into the wind. What?
Youdang. Okay.
It's okay.
He's fine.
Yep.
Just standing there, just chilling.
Waiting for the red buff.
Oh, EQ follow up. He wants to engage, finds it with the Cataclysm. Here comes the Cosmic Radiance. They want to save Ian. They've saved the mid laner for now. Hacker going in. Here comes the Pop Blossom from Chelizi. Finds one, but they're chasing it down. The top side of the fight, Vici are just losing everyone. A split fight, and they're not doing great, but the turnaround comes in. The damage onto SMLZ, the double kill for Puff. And it looks like Vici once again run it through with a triple kill for Puff.
What you're seeing here is something no one was really surprised about. I mean, SwordArt should be able to get at it. Oh, wait a minute. What are we doing here? Are we really following for this one? Calm down, everybody. Don't do this.
No. Why? They're going to try and go for it. They might get it, but that's 2 ultimates expended just for the support.
It's okay. No one died. I'm all right with that. They can take that mid lane turret, too.
All right.
They might even go for an inhibitor. So, what did we say about what Shooting should be doing with this composition?
Scale.
Huh?
They're waiting to scale.
What did I just said 2 times that they literally both have scaling compositions. So Suning should be going on side lane, 100%. They should never be team fighting. They have great side lane. Biubiu has been doing a lot of great work in the bottom side of the map. But at this point, they've been essentially ramming it straight in towards Ryze and the Xayah, who's been fantastically protected by Southwind. And he's dead.
Yikes.
All right, well, it's okay. He wasn't protected by Southwind.
Oh, no, they're going in for Ian as well. All right,
and
so Suning find a 1-3-1 of their own in the end. It's more just a run down through the jungle.
All right, this is my favorite kind of game. Abandon all strategies.
It seems to be working out for Suning.
Oh, yeah, let's get this guy, too.
Okay, not going to find the Abscond Abduct, but they will find the mid lane tower, so they're not going to be 1-3-1ing Raz, but they don't have to team fight if you've killed everyone. Everything's just a 5 versus 3 right now.
30-second death timers actually means that Suning can take inhibitor and try and fish for another champion. If they get one more kill, they can end the game.
SMLZ has the damage, doesn't have the ultimate right now. but Maple still has abilities available.
9 seconds
They're
on
looking
Puff.
for it. Youdang comes in. He is so tanky with that Guardian, or the Stone Plate, but Youdang gets popped up. Not enough damage to kill him. They finally get the shutdown. Here comes the stolen Pop Blossom there from Maple. They might be able to find someone else, but no. Wave clear too much from Vici Gaming, and they repel the push.
Yeah, Ian is going to come up there too, so that was a really smart play to be able to get that one last kill before Puff came back up. So great from Suning. And it really just resulted in them finding those picks on both Puff and Ian randomly in the jungle. So Vici Gaming, who have been out team fighting Suning as can be expected, and then Suning just find those picks and they're right back in it. So it really is anyone's game. And it really showcases the lack of experience that a lot of the players on Vici Gaming have. That when they have the goal lead, you know, there's always that need, that trust of saying, you know, I can stay on the map a little bit longer. I can pick up a bit more in the jungle. You know, I don't need to back right now. And it seems like the teleport coming through to catch both these people out is essentially what did it. Now, Puff didn't see this one coming. And I don't want to like give away onus and responsibility because they thought they can do an extra dragon. Why were you doing an extra dragon? After you've been winning teamfight after teamfight as a group, it's essentially an extra bit of what? You know, Cloud Dragon, for what does that actually give you? So, you know, I think they should be focusing right now. Thankfully, they're all back up. Mid lane inhibitor is actually the best inhibitor to lose. Technically, the best inhibitor to lose is none. But the fact that it was mid lane is that they can always shove out, have that well protected, and then still vie for Baron buff.
Mid lane will be the silver medal for them, but Suning trying to get the push, has the poke still coming out from Biubiu. But now Vici have to defend the push of their own. The Baron will be up just 20 seconds. So they need to establish vision around this as best they can.
But Suning now, all they got to do is play the waiting game. You don't got to do too much. You at least will have one person from Vici Gaming, I would assume it would be Puff, to hold that mid lane up so they can try and contest for Baron. But it seems like they've been slowed down. It's a good opportunity for Vici.
Here comes the flag and drag. Cosmic Radiance comes out, but Youdang, will he be able to find a Cataclysm? No, but the Pop Blossom comes in. Maple, so much damage. The return from Chelizi, not enough. And Suning may have finally found a team fight for them. The GA's been popped there onto Hacker, but Suning, the rest of the team is chasing down. Puff so incredibly low. They won't be able to find him as he gets over the wall, but the Realm Warp is coming in. It's been stolen. Maple Silas, the highlight of that team fight. And the ace comes in for Suning.
Maple is a madman. That was insane, and now he's just teleporting to pick up the wave. It seems like they want to end the game right now.
They're looking for it. They've got it. It's been a long fight for them. It's been a slugfest. They didn't quite get the 1-3-1 they were looking for, but they found something better, Baz. They found the better team fight. They got the picks, and now Suning are pouring into the base. Biubiu even popping the GA for it.
He doesn't care.
Smlz can't take the tower, but it doesn't matter. Suning are coming back strong. They're looking to make a mark with their first game victory over Vici Gaming.
It was a slugfest. It was tough. And it wasn't by the book. But you can still win with some added level of creativity. And Maple better be, you know, MVP after that game. It was insane to be able to find that last team fight. That was them getting caught out, by the way. They were the ones trying to slow it down. Ultimately, they themselves were getting slowed down. Glacial, Augment, like GLP, all that jazz. And so they had to be sticking down and fighting it. And they did it. I loved that 4-man. I want to see that replay again. Was it a 4-man, 5-man? I think it was 4-man.
It was almost 5-man. It was at the very least 4, but that's so... Yeah, I just want to see that 1,000 times. And you can see how much of a slugfest this game was if you just look at the goal graph. It was back and forth because they were trying to scale up. They were keeping it even for so long. But finally, Suning was the one who said, oh, I guess we got caught. Maple, you want to save the game for us? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's end this thing.
So I think a lot of people will watch this game, and rightfully so, they'll direct their anger towards Vici Gaming. Because Vici Gaming, once again, you know, you've been throwing Hysterics under that bus. I'll do them as well. This is why Hysterics' heart gets broken. They have the goal lead. They have everything in writing, essentially, because even past that goal lead, they were doing well to play around Puff and Southwind. The level of, you know, protection there for the Rise and Xayah team fighting was proving to be like too hard to deal with. And then they find themselves constantly greeting for something else on the map that was unnecessary. The dragon was one thing, the Cloud Dragon, the two of the carries thought they can pick up before they based. a few times that they were legitimately, you know, they got that 1 kill in mid lane, and then guess what happened? You know, they didn't actually do anything in terms of clearing out the Suning control wards around Baron that ultimately got Suning their Baron buff, installed the game out a little bit more. Vici Gaming had a chance to win this one. They should have won this one. And that's pretty fun. At least it's a good thing for Long to go in the back and say this team has some hope, right? This one's going 3 games. He has faith in that, and he has faith that this team has a future.
Well, let's take a look at the Suning side then, because this was, you had a 3-point plan for Suning, right?
Yes.
Communication was one of the big issues, and early on in the game, you said this is good communication from them. Do you still feel that's true as the full game went on?
No. Like, remember, the break was not enough. It's just a 1-month break on that one, and a lot of times they are using their break not to train, using it as a legitimate break. So when they come back and have Fluidwind finally work with the team, I did say it was going to be long-term, and I think it's going to be something like 4 weeks until you really see the team really comfortable with that style. This is game 1, and in game 1 what we saw was, it was hectic. I think the team fights, they had confidence on the calls, on the plays. When Maple went in, they went in as a team, and I think that's really all we need to see. And also the creativity. I already made a mention that Smlz is the type of person, the type of AD carry to say, if this is in the meta, I will play it. And that is, you know, music in the coach's ear. So he's happy that he was able to showcase the Tahm Kench Sona lane.
I'd like to see a little bit more creativity coming into game number 2, but let's see which team comes out ahead. Will it be Suning's match point, or will it go to a game 3? We'll be back in just a few minutes to answer that question.